Hello beautiful people, it's Jasmine here and I'd like to welcome you to the very first video on my YouTube channel, Yoga with Jasmine from Prakasha Yoga and Yoga Therapy. If you want to interact, please subscribe to this channel and then you'll be able to leave comments in the post. Today we are doing a yin yoga class. And if you're not familiar with yin yoga, or if you haven't done much yoga at all, yin is a very different way of moving in and out of poses. Rather than moving dynamically, we stay in the poses for up to 10 minutes. Today we'll be working between 1, 3 and 5 minutes. And we meditate in a way in the poses. So when we come into the shape, the invitation is to stay, find comfort, and then be still. And to anchor your awareness to your breath and to the sensations that are arising in your body. And to watch the mind, watch the activity of the mind, the quality of the thoughts, the nature of the thoughts that arise. And just be the observer. Yin is a really grounding, stabilizing practice that works with the deeper connective tissue. The reason we stay longer in each pose is to really allow the energy that we're building through the meridians or the nadi, the energy channels, and allow that to kind of pull, and then when we move out of the pose there's this moment where that energy can be flushed, or a block that was once there is flushed, free of energy. So I've got a couple of blocks nearby. We may or may not need them, or you may or may not need them. If you don't have a yoga block, don't worry. It's not a super technical thing. You can just find a book or something dense that's roughly that thickness. I've also got a few pillows nearby. If you have a bolster, a yoga bolster, that's something great to have nearby, or just find some pillows to support your body throughout the practice. So I invite you to find a comfortable seat. Sit up on something so you can elevate your hips. Again, if you don't have a block, another thing that works really well is a blanket, particularly something that's got a bit of density to it, so like a woolen blanket or a cotton blanket, and then you can modify the height. And in the first pose we will actually be needing something roughly block height or a rolled up towel that you can put under the back of the body. So first, if you're not comfortable sitting cross-legged, don't worry. You can always bring your feet forward and sit in a diamond shape. You can start sitting in a chair, or if neither of those options are comfortable, please just come and lie to your back with your feet flat and your knees bent. And once you've found your comfortable seat, close your eyes and then rest your hands either to your thighs with the hands palms turned down. This allows for a little bit of extra grounding. Or you can just rest your hands comfortably in your lap. Take a full breath, filling the abdomen. And as you do so, feel yourself arrive physically onto your mat and more in an energetic sense back to your body. Feel the ground below you that is supporting you. Scan the body and relax the belly. Often we hold quite a bit of tension in the abdomen. Notice if your shoulders are hunched up and really let them drop away from your ears so there's space in the back of your neck. And soften the jaw. Gently part the teeth. Notice any parts of the body that feel a little out of sorts. You might be working with an injury. And if you are, please listen to your body. You know your body better than anyone. And modify accordingly. Or if something doesn't feel right, just sit back and visualize yourself doing the shape. And as you connect with your seat, with the ground below you, feel the effects of gravity anchoring you down. At the same time, get a sense of lifting and lightness through the spine, top of the head, creating space for your breath. Become aware of your breath and starting to bring your breath into your conscious control. Feeling the cooler temperature as you inhale through the nostrils. Warmer temperature moving out. Allow your exhalation to be longer than your inhalation. Working with the breath is so powerful in yoga because it allows us to directly access the nervous system. So we can really alter our physical or mental or emotional state by using our breath. So if we're a little bit heightened or anxious, doing these fuller, deeper, longer breaths, particularly on the exhalation, switch on the parasympathetic nervous system and our body starts to recalibrate. With your eyes closed, noticing the space around your body. And stretch your awareness out as far as you can, beyond the physical boundary of your body. Beyond the room that you're sitting in. Tapping into this sense of limitlessness. And as you inhale, feel the breath, allow that expansion to happen. And then bring your palms together, keeping the eyes closed. Start to rub the hands quite vigorously until you feel warmth building between the hands. And then take the palm of the hand to the eyes. And just gently cup your eyes and allow the hands to press into the muscles around the eyes. Squeeze the eyes and then open the eyes, squeeze the eyes and open the eyes a couple of times inside the hands. And then you can just keep your gaze soft, bringing the palms down, gaze down, and locate your block or a rolled up towel. Come to lie on your back, with your feet flat and your knees bent. Take your block or book, something that's dense, slide it underneath your hips, under the sacrum. There's a really flat, stable part of the base of your spine where that block will rest quite comfortably. Try to avoid having it too high up in the lower back, which is going to be uncomfortable. or too low down in the glutes or on the buttocks, which will also feel a little unstable. And then close the eyes again, palms come out to the side, turned up. And take a few breaths here. Notice the hips elevated. We're in a mild inversion here with our hips higher than our heart higher than our head. So we're just helping to reverse the energy of the body quite gently to begin with. Allow yourself to settle into the support. Stay here with the hips elevated and the knees bent if that's already feeling like it's doing something. If you'd like to open up the hip flexors and take it one step deeper, stretch the legs forward. If that's causing you any pain or tension in the lower back, just bring the knees back to the original position. And then again, just allow yourself to be, soften the body and drop into your breath. A few rounds of conscious breathing into the abdomen, so the belly expands on the inhale, belly gently contracts on the exhale, allowing the breath to be longer and fuller. Relax the belly before you inhale, and then gently contract the belly on the exhale. And just let that go and just allow the breath to be natural and easy, but keep your mind focused to your breath. If you notice your mind starting to drift off or wander or zone out, keep coming back to the breath, to sensation, to that sense of gravity. The nature of our mind is to wander, and that's okay. We have to entertain that from time to time, but the more we can practice bringing it back to the present moment, the easier it becomes. We can gauge the efficacy of our yoga practice by looking at the quality of our meditation. And then further into life, our capacity for patience with ourselves, with the world, with others. And also our level of okayness with just being on our own, not needing other people to validate us or to entertain us or other situations to keep us occupied, distracting us from ourselves. Take 3 more breaths here. And then bring your feet back if your legs are extended. And draw the knees into the center. Lower the feet down, lift the hips, slide your block out of the way, and then return the hips to the ground and just take a moment to observe any changes that you're feeling in your body, in your mind, particularly in the lower back. And then extend your legs. Come to your forearms, so you're propped up by your elbows. Find your block again, or your rolled up towel. Could even be a rolled up yoga mat. You're going to bring it underneath the upper part of your spine, the thoracic spine. And you're going to need a pillow behind your head as well. And then rest back to the block. Take something, another block or a pillow, and place it under your head. And you want that block to be right behind the center of the chest. So if that doesn't quite feel centered, just tweak it a little until you hit that sweet spot. You want your head to be supported enough so the neck isn't jarring at the back. If a block is too high, modify it accordingly to your body. Bring your arms out wide and palms turned open. This is a really lovely way to counterpose a lot of work spent on a computer. Opening up the physical chest, and when we work with this part of the body, we're increasing the amount of prana or life force vitality that we're bringing into our body, which helps us to build and strengthen our immune system. When we've got a strong immune system, our resilience to mental negativity, either our own or stuff that's coming in from the outside world, strengthens. And physically and physiologically, we can navigate stressful times with more ease. So you can either have your legs extended like mine. Another option is to bend the knees and bring the soles of the feet together so the knees open into a diamond shape. If that's too strong in the groin area, you can prop something up underneath the thighs there, or change the legs so your feet are wide and the knees are falling in towards the center. So I offer lots of modifications, one so you can find what works for you, but also because we're very used to things being kind of handed to us now. It's not it's something that we need to get better at, is to knowing what our needs are without someone else telling us. So really use that as an opportunity to sense just exactly how your body feels and exactly what you need so your needs can be met. And then settle back, come to stillness, come to your breath. Feeling the breath now a little bit higher in the chest. So the first pose we focused on abdominal breathing, now we're focusing on breath in the chest. Feel the sides of the ribs, lifting the center of the chest and observing that breath rise all the way up to your collarbones. And let the exhale be long, smooth, subtle, and easy. Offer yourself this gift of stillness, of rest, a time to go inward, a time to recenter, time for nourishment, for self-care. Take 3 more breaths and really feeling the shape of your breath, feel the body. Every breath in is an opportunity to bring in fresh energy, vitality, prana. Every breath out is an opportunity to let go of what's not serving you, of stagnant, stale energy, of anything that is holding you back in life. And you might not know exactly what that is, but just having the intention to let go is just as powerful. So bring your knees back together, tucking the chin, using the hands to support you. Remove your prop from under the back and from behind the head, and just rest back down to the ground. Legs extend, palms turn open. Tuning into any new sensations that you're feeling as a direct response to the pose, to the breath, to the inquiry. And then bring your palms together, interlace your fingers, stretch your arms up and over your head all the way to the ground. Bend the knees again, soles of the feet come together, knees fall out wide. Stretch the arms away from you to lengthen through the sides of your waist. Arch your back so the hips tilt forward towards the knees. So it's a little bit more active. Feel the belly stretch and expand with your inhale. Keep the chin tucked back if the neck stays long. And then bring the knees back together, release the hands down towards the knees and hug the knees in towards you. Bring your hands resting to your knees now and just make some circles with the knees. Massaging across the lower back and across the tops of the buttocks. And then let your hands come to the ground and make those circles without the hands touching the knees. Change directions. So you've got a little bit more stability with the hands resting to the ground. And then roll to your right side, feet come to the ground. Use your hands to help you come up, pressing yourself up to a seated position. And bring your feet together in a long diamond shape. Again, just like before, if that's causing quite a big stretch through the groin there, just prop something under your outer thigh. It could be a block, it could be a pillow, it could be a rolled up towel or anything that is suitable. So we want the legs to be quite long. You might also need something under the hips there. If you feel like your lower back is really kind of dumping like that, prop your hips up to get that little bit of height and length through the lower back. So just rest your hands to the knees to begin with and take a breath in. Feel the length of the spine. As you exhale, lower the torso forward towards the ground. And then just pause when you feel that first kind of strongish sensation. We've got time in our yin yoga poses, so we don't want to just rush all the way into the full depth of the pose. We use our breath to alert our nervous system that it's safe and supported. And then once the body kind of feels that level of comfort, it will give you more, it will let go, it will release that contraction that comes from a fear of being put into a position that's challenging or painful. The yin yoga practice asks us to be still so that we can really observe these more subtle sensations. So you feel that letting go if you're really giving yourself that space and that quiet time to go there. Gradually coming a little bit further closer to the ground if you can. Don't push beyond what's your capability. You can also have something in front of you, like a pillow or a bolster or a blanket, something that you can rest onto as support, so your body doesn't feel like it's forcing itself to hang into a shape that it's not quite ready for. Close the eyes, go back in and feel those more subtle sensations, deeper than the most obvious sensations. Notice if your tendency is to want to kind of fidget and shuffle around. This is a pretty clear indication that the mind is quite busy, and these stiller, quieter practices can be really quite hard if you're the person who's used to being on the go all the time, who's used to always having a to-do list or an agenda or a meeting, something to attend to. Often a lot of that's just a distraction from ourselves again, and these practices where we are asked to slow down are a really nice way to slow the mind down as well. So it might be hard at first, it might feel challenging, but the more you do it, the more able you are to have that capacity to stay, to find stability. When we find stability in the body, we have a direct reflection of stability in the mind. In fact, none of the ancient yogic texts talk about flexibility being a prerequisite for yoga. Stability is key, both structural and mental. So if you've got a little bit more in you, or if you'd like to go a little bit deeper, you can bring your hands underneath the legs, palms to the ground, more grounding. Palms open is a more receptive shape. Again, if that's just impossible for you, then don't even try. Don't force yourself. Don't feel like you have to compete to get there. Just come to a place where you can be still, so you're not distracted by those stronger sensations. It's not about getting a really deep stretch. Keep checking in with your body and observing where you're holding tension, and consciously invite that tension to soften. And that's a mental invitation, but the breath also is a huge key player there. Stay for 3 more breaths. Breathing into the space of the lower back, allowing more space around the kidneys. And then use your hands to walk the torso back up. Before bringing the legs together, just rest your hands to your knees, lengthen through the spine, and notice sensation rushing back. We call this a rebound effect. So you might even feel blood or warmth or a sense of tingling coming back to those areas that were held. And then use your hands to bring your knees back together. And then take them back behind you. Feet come a little bit wider, about as wide as your mat, and then just let your knees drop to one side, head turns to the opposite, and then the opposite side. So it's a nice release for the legs, for the lower back. Close the eyes if you like, and move really slowly and mindfully. It's not about heating up the muscles. We're just looking for a gentle release, counter pose. And then go back to center. Sit on the long edge of your mat. We're going to take our legs out into a wide V shape. So you might just want to lift the hips and lower them back down to align the sit bones underneath you. Bring your hands to your knees. You might already be feeling quite a strong extension through the groins there. You can also prop under the knees here. Pillows, blocks, whatever works for you. Takes out the intensity in the hamstrings if you're working with quite tight hamstrings, which is a pretty common thing in this day and age where we spend a lot of time sitting. So you can also have something here in front of you. A couple of pillows is a nice option. If you have a yoga bolster, perfect, don't worry. If you don't, something that you can rest forward to, or something that you can prop under your forehead. So before we come down, just bring the hands to the knees again, lengthen up through the spine. And just as in the last pose, you might want something under your hips to give you a little bit of elevation if you've got that kind of dipping happening in the lower back, that dumping. And you'll know because you'll be able to feel the vertebra of the lower part of the back poking out. We don't want that. We want to find that length through the lower back. Okay, breathe in, find your space through the spine, soften the shoulders, and then start to walk your hands forward. Find your edge of sensation and then pause. And just take a few breaths into that edge, consciously relaxing the legs. This is where they might be held tighter. You might be able to come a little bit closer to the ground, walking the hands away from you. Again, it's not about getting your head to the ground or folding as deep as you can. It's about finding a place where you can rest. You're still feeling sensation, but you're not forcing anything. We do want to challenge ourselves a little bit, but not tipping over into forcing, straining, or being competitive, because that's when we can injure ourselves. Keep lifting out of your hips. Again, you might be able to come a little bit closer to the ground. You might want to prop your head so you can really just let go. Another nice shape to be in is if you've got something high, just to rest your elbows and support the weight of your head in your hands. Feeling the effects of gravity helping you deepen into the pose, moving beyond your limits of what you thought was possible. So whether your mind is very busy and you're telling yourself that you can't stay in the pose because it's uncomfortable, or just allow all of that to come to the surface and be the observer of it. To settle the physical body, we tune into our breath. And that has a ripple-on effect and helps us settle our mind. When our mind is in this really still, quiet place, we're able to access our essence, that blissful state that's joyful and full of creativity and gratitude. Often in these longer held poses, it's not unusual for emotion to rise to the surface. That could be in the form of laughter or tears. And the reason for this is that we do store emotions that we haven't yet processed in the physical body. So when we're holding our connective tissue in an open state, we're releasing those stored, trapped emotions in the body. And contrary to what a lot of practices or spiritual practices promote, where all we're focusing on is love and joy and bliss and divinity and beauty. It's not about not feeling those challenging emotions. We want to feel them, but we want to be able to move through them with quite turnaround. So when they arise, that we have this moment where we can just process them and observe them for what they are, and then let them move through us rather than let them get stuck. So then we can more easily return to that state that is joyful and creative and love-filled and bliss-filled. So deepen your breath for the last minute. And just deepen your awareness in the posture. Anchor to your breath. Send it to all the parts of the body that are feeling tighter, challenged, contracted. Offer them space. Offer those emotions that are arising that space to just arise. Let this be your last breath. Fully exhale, release all the breath from the body. And then use your hands again so you're supporting yourself to come back up to a neutral position. Bring the hands to the knees. Take a moment to be. And see if you can connect with that deeper part of yourself, with your essence. It's always there, it's just buried underneath the stuff, underneath the layers, underneath the busyness. Hands come back behind the knees. Help the legs back in. And then just give your knees a hug. So shuffle your hips towards your heels. Bow your head forward. You might be able to rest your eyes to your kneecaps. If you can't, don't worry. And then just lean back. So you're rounding the spine, creating a C shape with the spine. Inhale, open. Bring your hands and knees to the ground. Come into a kneeling position. If your knees are a little tender, a nice thing to do is to grab your mat and fold it so you've got a bit of extra padding there, or alternately you can fold up a blanket and put it underneath your knees, or have some pillows under your knees. So inhale here, exhale, let your hips move towards your heels, moving really slowly, really mindfully. Inhale, lift your hips. And then bring your shoulders forward over your wrists, opening up the fronts of the thighs. Exhale, hips move back really slowly towards the heels. Inhale, extend the chest forward, shoulders move forward, hips towards the ground, opening the fronts of the thighs. You can very gently rock your hips from side to side here. Exhale, move back. Two more times like this. Again, nice invitation here is to close the eyes and really just drop into the subtleties of the movement. Maybe focusing on the hands, the movement in the arms and shoulders and upper back for one round. And then focus on the feet, the lower legs, the knees, and the movement of the hips for another round. Just refining your awareness. And your ability to sense different parts of your body from the inside out. It's called interoception, and it just heightens our awareness and our understanding of our own body. Come back to all fours. And then take your knees as wide as your mat. Toes come together. You might want a pillow or a bolster here. You're going to sit back to your heels and rest into a wide child's pose. If you're resting to a pillow, turn your head to one side. And that might be 2 or 3 pillows, so choose what height works for you. Turn the head to the other side. And then just lift your torso, remove the support if you had a pillow underneath. You're going to keep your knees wide and walk your hands out to the left. So the left side shortens, the right side lengthens, and then just reach through the right fingertips a little bit further than the left hand. So coming into a wide knee child's pose position with a lateral stretch. If you can, bring your forehead down to the ground, or just find a comfortable position in the middle to rest the head so the neck isn't strained. Keep anchoring through the right hip and reaching through the right hand. Nice, and then bring your hands back through center. Stretch it out for a moment. Rise back up to your fingertips and walk your hands around to the right. Length through the left side of the body now. Reach through the left fingertips and sit back into the left heel. You find that length from left pinky all the way down the left side of the ribs to the hip. And visualize your breath moving into the left side of your body. Inhale, walk your hands back to center. Come back up to all fours. And then let's come forward to lie flat on the belly. So just bring your hands forward and rest your head on your palms, tops of the feet flat to the ground. And just observe your breath moving towards the ground. So what does it feel like to have that little bit of restriction below you? Notice how the breath moves differently in the body. And then come back up to your forearms. few options here for those of you who may have a tight lower back. You can take your feet a little bit wider. This opens the backs of the hips to give us a bit more space. You can also have a pillow under your hips or a blanket under your hips to lift the hips out, again giving yourself a bit more space. Or just don't come up as high, so your hands further away from you. So we're looking to extend through the front of the spine. Often we only think of the spine being part of our back body, but obviously it's not. So think of that length through the spine. Just press the hands into the ground a little and draw yourself towards the front of your mat. Back of the neck stays long. This is already pretty strong for you, stay here. Otherwise you can take your hands a touch wider. Press up to what we call seal pose in Yin Yoga. If that's really not working for you, come back down. Please don't push beyond your capacity. We want to avoid this kind of hanging into the shoulders and crunching the back of the neck. So we always find space, particularly length of the neck between the ears and the shoulders is a really important part of our body to be conscious of. Not just in our yoga practice, but in our everyday. It's one of those parts of the body that does hunch up. It's the first part, along with the jaw, to clench up when we're in stress. When our shoulders and neck are contracted like that, we're sending a signal to our nervous system that we're not safe. So really be aware of that part of your body. Take one more breath here. Exhale, belly down to the floor. Find a comfortable position for your arms. They can be out to the sides, down by the sides of the body. Or you can be resting your head on the palms again. Turning the head to one side. And then changing the direction of the head just to relax the neck. And then come back to your forearms. Again, it doesn't have to be high. Bend your left knee out to the side as high as you can so the knee comes up towards your elbow. And flex the foot, so you want that foot at a roughly 90-degree angle. You can stay here with the torso elevated a little up on the forearms. If that's too strong, come down and turn the head to one side and just rest to the belly. Your breath in, and then stretch that left leg back, returning down to the ground. Pause in between, and allow this to be a moment of sweet surrender, sweet release. No effort required here. Bring your torso back up just to get the leg into position. So the right knee is going to slide up now. Right foot comes out at a 90-degree angle. Choosing whether to stay up on your forearms or to rest down to your belly. You can have a pillow under the head or anything that allows you to be super comfortable. And then breathe. Thinking about every breath that you take is delivering fresh oxygen to your cells that are being flushed around your body. Which is why when I say breathe into your hip or breathe into the sensation, you are actually sending breath into that part of the body. And when we pair that with having our mental attention there, it just supercharges the effect of the breath and the effect of the shape that we're in. Last breath. Releasing down to the ground. If you can remember which side your head was turned last time, turn it to the opposite side. Stretch the right leg back and then just rest for a moment. Total surrender. Bring your hands by your ribs, tuck your toes, lift yourself from the ground, back into all fours, hands and knees. And then just lower your hips to one side. Let's take them down to the right. And bring one knee forward, left knee back, sole of the right foot inside the left thigh. And depending on your anatomy, you might need a little something under the right hip, or you might need something under the left hip. It just depends on the shape of your hips. You can make it a little bit less intense by just opening the feet a bit more. This can be quite a tricky one for some people. So we're going to bring something out to the right side. If you've got pillows, blankets, something that you can rest towards. So it's right out at the right side of the hip. Knees are pointing away. Turn your torso towards your props and fold yourself down over the props. So we're looking at lengthening the top side of the body. It's a very nourishing and supported shape. Your choice whether your head is turned towards the direction of your knees or away from you. And here, really let yourself be held in this shape by the pillows or the bolster or the blanket, whatever it is you're folding towards. Slowly start to move out of the shape, pressing the torso back up. Return the torso to center and just rest your hands to your knees. Again, just take a moment to drop into that deeper current. Just lean over to the right, bring the legs back to center. Shift your props, and that might be more than 2 pillows, you might have a whole stack of pillows. And then bring your knees over to the left, so both knees are facing the left and your props are coming right out the left side of your hip. And then turn your torso, so this is a twist, and then we're folding down, extending over the support. And you can let that back leg, the right leg, just release a little. Come into a really lovely, easy rhythmic breath. Let go of any holding, let go of any tension. Use the breath to calm the body to still the mind, to access that essence, which we can only really tap into when the nervous system is in a very, very comfortable and safe space. Bring your hands back, release out of the pose, lift the torso up, turn yourself back to center, hands rest to the knees. Take one full breath. And then just move your props to the side. You may need them for the next pose. We're coming into what's known as pigeon pose, or also known as sleeping swan pose in yin yoga. So you're going to come to your hands and knees to begin. And tuck your toes, send your hips high, or you can stay down on your hands and knees if that's more accessible to you right now. I'm going to give you an option if this version isn't supporting you. So bend your left knee, bring it up behind the left wrist, and then lower the top of your right thigh towards the ground. So this is the prep for pigeon. If this is just really not working for you and your hips and body is screaming, just bear with me and I'll bring you into another variation. If this is okay, then you can bring your forearms towards the ground. And this is where your prop might come in handy, so you might want to rest down towards the prop or have something for the forehead to rest onto. Knowing that you can always adjust the props. Just do that really mindfully and really consciously so as to not disturb the energy. Coming to the ground and resting in pigeon pose if you want to stay there. Otherwise, come to lie on your back. Take your left ankle over your right knee so the left knee bends out to the side. That might already be enough for you. I'm already feeling that in my outer left hip here. If you'd like a little bit more, you can either prop something underneath your right foot. This works really well at a wall as well. If you want, you can have your right foot to a wall, or you can reach the arms through and take hold of either around the front of the right knee or behind the right thigh. And then just take a moment to settle in, find stillness and breathe here. So you're either in this figure 4 shape or in the downward version. You might want to just readjust, maybe move the props out of the way or change something if you feel like you have accessed that part where you can go a little bit deeper. Or you might need to come out and readjust so it's less intense. Always listen to your body and know that you don't have to hold the shape as long as we stay in it here. You can just come out and come into a resting position. It's all about being self-supporting, knowing how to have your needs met. When we acknowledge ourselves in this way, the level of communication and the impact of the healing that this practice brings is amplified. Take a couple more breaths here. let these last few breaths allow you that deeper connection. And then use your hands again to walk you back up. If you're in the forward facing version of this pose, if you're resting to your back, just uncross your legs and bring both feet flat to the ground. If you're in this version of pigeon, tuck the back toe, step the left foot back to downward dog, rise up onto the toes, and then bend the knees and stretch through the back of the body, back of the neck long, and then straighten the legs, lower the heels towards the ground, don't worry if they don't touch, and then bend the knees again, find that length through the spine. Bring your right knee forward, take the right foot towards the left hand, slide the left leg back, and I forgot to mention in the last pose, you might need to prop something under that right hip. If you feel like you're really leaning over into that right hip, something like a block or a pillow underneath that right hip can just help to keep your hips square. Of course, coming to your back if that was a version of this pose that felt much more comfortable in your body. And then making your way forward. Again, just meeting the edge of your sensation. And knowing that you've got about 3 or 4 minutes here to slowly allow yourself that time to come deeper. And when I say deeper, it's not necessarily about getting a deeper, more intense stretch. It's deepening the mental focus and the capacity to find that mental stability, that mental stillness. Body, mind, breath. Coming a little closer if you can. Again, it's not all about that. With that laser focus, see if you can feel that moment where the nervous system really just lets go. Send those last 3 breaths to the most intense part of this sensation, and then look for something a little bit deeper than that. And then coming out, if you're in the forward facing version, press your torso up and away from you. This time we're going to just rest to the right hip. Move your props out of the way, bring your left leg forward. If you're on your back, just uncrossing the legs. Come to rest with the feet flat, knees bent, palms down by the sides of your body. And then take your arms out to a wide T-shaped position. Bring your right knee over your left, so crossing your legs. You might be able to hook the right toes under the left ankle or not. And then just take your knees down to the right, slide your hips back, come into an easy twist. If that's too strong with the legs crossed, just uncross them. So we want our knees to go in one direction. Head can stay centered, or you can turn your head to the opposite direction, so you're getting a full twist from the top to the bottom of your spine. Twisting is a really powerful way just to release any residual tension in the spine. It's a wonderful thing to do at night time as a means to decompress. You might feel a few clicks or releases. Send your breath down to your abdomen and feel the breath softly fill the abdomen. Bring the legs back to center, hips recenter, uncross, change sides, hook the toes if you're comfortable. If that's not comfortable at all, having the legs crossed, just come to lower the knees without them twisted, without the legs twisted, and then twist the torso and spine, knees to the right, gaze to the left. Keep your left shoulder grounded if you can. Try to avoid it rocking off the ground. A nice way to support yourself in a twist is just to prop something up under the knees, so you don't have to hold yourself in the and then bring the knees back to center, head back to center, hips realign, uncross. Bring your knees in towards your belly. Take the knees a little bit wider, reach the arms through to find the feet. And then press your feet up towards the ceiling. flatten your back towards the ground as much as you can. So you're drawing the legs towards you, but at the same time you're pressing the feet up. And then let your feet open a little bit wider. Really feel the whole surface of your spine touching the mat. Relax the pelvic floor and sink closer towards your mat. Soft shoulders. Bring your feet back together. Release the legs to the ground. And find a comfortable position to lie down so the legs extend. You might want to set your pillows up so they're underneath your knees. You want your feet to be wide, arms away from the body. Alternately, you could have one hand to the heart, one hand to the belly. If you've got something to cover your eyes, cover your eyes. A really nice way just to help you shut your senses off. So take a few moments to really find comfort and ease here in your resting position, in your Shavasana. I'm going to talk you through a guided relaxation, guided meditation. I'll leave you to have some stillness and then we'll come out together. So we're going to do a little bit of work with the breath first just to get us into that state of relaxation. So feeling abdomen, ribs, all the way up to the collarbones with breath. And then exhale out the mouth. Inhale again, abdomen, chest, up to the collarbones with breath. Sides of the ribs expand. As you exhale, feel the body become heavier and rest closer towards the ground. One more time like that, nice full deep breath. Exhale, use this last conscious breath to anchor yourself to the ground. And let go of your breath. Let your breath settle to an easy rhythm. Knowing that right in this moment you have absolutely nothing to do apart from rest, be still, find softness and ease. Starting to feel the bones become heavier. Noticing the points of contact between the back of the body and the ground. And just allow yourself to be weighted into the ground as if you are resting on a soft surface like sand or grass and your body is just making this soft imprint. Allow yourself to nestle into that imprint. And then visualize the feet And then this wave moving from the feet to the top of the head. Wave of awareness, flushing the body. From the top of the head, visualize this wave of awareness moving down the body, through the legs and back down to your feet. Soles of the feet, like you're drawing energy in and up through the body. Flushing through the tissues, through the organs, through the joints. And then back down from the top of the head. This wave flushes down through your entire body. And then come to the center point, midline of your body, your chest, and visualize this wave moving out from the center out, expanding. And then with the breath, contract that awareness gently back to the center. And with the next breath, feel the body expand beyond the physical. And then back to center. So you're not just physically breathing through your nostrils. Feel like the whole body is expanding with the breath and contracting with the breath. Do this for a couple of rounds. Nature is in this constant state of expansion and contraction, just as we are in our lives. If we were constantly expanding and growing and moving outwards, then we would be in a very destabilized place. So just use that contraction to bring yourself back to your center and to ground and reconnect and rebalance and calibrate. Continuing for a little bit longer if you like, otherwise just letting that go and dropping back to that very subtle, soft, rhythmic breath. And then take your time to just slowly bring your awareness back to your body, to the space that you're resting in, and to a deeper breath. Before moving, just feel into your hands, sense your hands. Is there a vibrancy, a tingling, a kind of deeper awareness of energy in the palms of the hands, tips of the fingers? Do the same for your feet. Be aware of your feet, the soles of your feet, and just allow that energy through the hands and the feet to spread to the body, and use that to initiate some gentle movement to the fingers and toes. And then you might like to stretch the palms, stretch the arms overhead, extend the feet. Just let yourself come back to a more energized state. Roll to your right side and just stay there for a moment. Staying with that depth of awareness of your essence. Keeping your eyes closed or your gaze soft, use your hands to help bring you back up to an upright position, to a comfortable seat. Observe the effects of the practice on the physical, on the mental, on the energetic body, also known as the emotional body. Emotions are just energy in motion. And then bring your palms together, thumbs towards the heart center. Bowing the head forward and bowing into your essence, acknowledging your light. And use this as a reminder to connect with these deeper parts of yourself more often. Blessings and Namaste to you all. Thank you for practicing with me. See you again soon. Much love.